Good morning, children, and welcome to my channel Let's Learn Together. Now, this is the first video that I am uploading for class 9 students, and the text that we are going to discuss today is The Fun They Had. Now, you need to understand that there are two textbooks in your syllabus, Beehive and Moments. Beehive is the main textbook, and Moments is the supplementary reader, which we will be discussing later. But today, as of now, in this particular video, we will talk about the first chapter of your main textbook, Beehive, and the title of the chapter is The Fun They Had. This chapter or this story is written by Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov is a Russian writer, and he had written many short stories and novels on artificial intelligence, on robotics, and something that deals or that comes within the purview of science fiction. What is science fiction? As the term is itself telling you, science fiction is a fiction which is dependent upon or which is built upon the science or scientific themes. For example, you would have seen certain films in televisions which deals with time travel. You would have seen certain films which would deal with extraterrestrial life, or something which deals with the coming up of alien life systems into our system, or you would deal with something wherein there is this movement of individual from one universe to another parallel universe. So these are still theories with us because we have not still been able to prove that any of these things are actually possible. For example, time travel is possible or not, we do not know. We do not have any reliable proof of time travel. So they still all these scientific themes, they still dwell into the realm of imagination, and that is why any imagination that is brought upon or that is built upon these kind of scientific themes, they are known as science fiction. So this particular story is also the part of the science fiction, and it is talking about the future of humankind, which is largely based upon artificial intelligence. Now, what is artificial intelligence? Obviously, the intelligence that you, me, and other Homo sapiens that possess is original intelligence, because this is the intelligence that has been given to us by nature. We have not downloaded any software into our minds to think or to improve our cognitive abilities, but we have definitely worked upon improving and making the intelligences of machines like robots. They are computers is the best example. For instance, this mobile theory, this technology, the mobile technology that you're using, it is nothing but the example of artificial intelligence, but this intelligence has been manufactured by human beings, and it has been improved by human beings, and it has been created by them, and that is why it is artificial, because it is not natural. Therefore, when we talk about robotics, when we talk about computer technology, when we talk about mobile technology, when we talk about any kind of technology, then that is definitely artificial. And the intelligence which is the manifestation of this kind of technology which is given to the robots, that is known as artificial intelligence, which is created by human beings and not naturally. I hope this is clear to you. So what Isaac Asimov is trying to tell you is this particular story is of the year 2157, 2157. We are right now in the year 2020. How many years ahead of that? Please calculate for yourself, right? So we're talking about definitely a century which is much ahead of us, and we're talking about how life is going to be at that time. So Isaac Asimov is very much, he was very much interested about thinking, what if this artificial intelligence, which is right now the creation of human being, either it overtakes or it supersedes human being, how the human life is going to be. So we just been given one episode of a life of human beings which has been completely overtaken by artificial intelligence. Okay, so this story is basically about two children. One's name, the girl's name is Marky, and another character is her brother Tommy. So Tommy is one day able to grab a book like any other book. For example, this is a book, right? So he's able to grab a book, and it comes as extreme surprise to these people, both of them, because they have found a book. Now it's a surprise to them because these kind of hard copies, the pages that we still have, does not probably exist anymore in that time. and these people are completely used to reading electronic books and not the real books. And that is why Margie write it down notes it down in her diary, where she writes that Tommy has found a real book. Okay, so something which could be a source of boredom for you, something which could be a source of interest for others, for them it is a source of surprise and shock, because they have never seen a real book, and this book was their grandfather's grandfather book, somebody who has been an extreme predecessor in their own family. And obviously the book has survived many many years, so the pages are extremely yellow, they are crumpy, they are just ready to break down. And when Margie looks at this book and they open the book, they start reading it, they find it quite funny to read letters of the book or the words of the book which are static, because they are used to read ebooks where the text keeps on moving on the screen. So the sentence keeps moving, the words keeps moving, and as the sentence keeps moving, they're supposed to read it. So obviously for them to read a particular textbook where the words are static and they are not in movement is something which comes as a surprise to both of them. Okay, then after that, since Marky is still very surprised at looking at a new book, and for then this particular book is a source of amazement and amusement both, there is a glimpse of their life that is being given to us. So we find that Marky and Tommy do not go to any kind of real schools. So now for us, a school means a building where students and the teachers gather. They sit at a particular place. Generally the class will have a set of students which will be approximately of the same age group, and the teacher is required there to discuss a particular topic with them. This is what school means for us. For these students, Marky and Tommy, their own homes have become their own schools. For example, there is this one particular room of their own home which has been classified as a school for them. They have all the equipment set there. There are computers, there are robots, and there are robots who act as a geography teacher, and they continue to teach them. And there are test after test which are conducted for these children, and the children have to take the test, and accordingly they have to perform in the text. So Marky has not been doing well in her geography lessons somehow. So then after few tests, when she has not been performing very well, the mother decides to talk to one officer in the city, which is termed as who is termed as county. So this county officer is sought out for help by Marky's mother, and then the county comes to the home and he looks at the robot and he does some kind of changes in it, which means he takes all the parts of the robots differently. He takes away all the parts and deassemble it first, and then make some changes into the software of the robot, and then reassemble it so that the robot could change some strategies in teaching to Marky. And when once again the robot starts teaching to Marky, Marky finds the robot much better, because the pace of teaching of geography lessons has slowed down. It has come down to an average 10-year-old child's level. And then Marky starts actually reading the chapters and reading her lessons and starts taking the test. However, as I told you, by looking at that particular book, he gets very much attracted by the idea how real schools would be like. Now, real schools for you, it is not difficult to imagine what real, because you are a part of a real school. But for Margie, who is like approximately 150 years ahead of us, for her to imagine a common building in a community which is termed as school, where all the teachers and the school and the students assemble and they study, this whole idea itself is extremely fantastic, and she finds that idea completely fun, because she just imagines how nice it would be that when all the children would gather together, they would chat and they would laugh and they would have fun in studying, and their life would be completely full of play and merriment. However, in just confining herself to one room and teaching and studying with the help of a robotic teacher is not very appealing to her. Therefore, she wants to view this whole idea of the schools, old schools which have existed in past. This is just the story of the first chapter. the fun they had. Now, who are having the fun here? Obviously, the schools who existed in the past and the children who used to study in the school. Okay, so what you have to understand here is that after reading the stories, you need to think on certain lines which I am providing you. These are the questions that I am giving you. If you have watched the complete video, please try to write down the answers of these two questions or three questions, whatever I am giving you. Uh, you need not have read the textbook or the book to answer these questions. These are your own opinions on certain issues. Please write them down. And in the next video that I will upload, you are requested to sit along with your book. Yes, a real book, a hard copy of the book. Please get it since the shops are open in your surroundings. Please go there and maintaining the social distancing, buy the books and sit along with your books. Even if you're not able to get your books, there's no problem. Just read the text online and sit with a pen and a notebook with you, because in tomorrow's video I will try to take you through the chapter line by line, and of course I will not be able to read the complete chapter, but point by point, as you know, your textbook, in the stories given in your textbook, they're generally given in the form of the points, if you remember. So point by point I will definitely discuss it with you. If you have a text, well and good. If you don't have it, it's all right, just keep taking notes. Anyway, the question for today is this. First question: what are the difference between a robotic teacher and a real teacher? I repeat the question. What are the differences between a robotic teacher and a real teacher? Please try to think about it. Once again, I'm saying you don't really have to have read story for answering this question. Just think, what could be the differences between a real teacher and a robotic teacher? Enumerate certain differences. What do you think according to the... And in the same question, add the next part. Who do you think would be a better teacher? So the question goes like this. First question is, what are the differences between a real teacher and a robotic teacher? Who do you think is the better teacher? Next question. Next question for you is this. What do you think is a better system study? Staying in a room and studying, or moving out in a school building and studying along with other students? Once again, I'm repeating the question. What do you think is a better system of studying? Staying in a room and studying in isolation, or moving out in a school building and studying along with a group of other students? So try to write down the answers of these two questions. You can use the word limit, could be somewhere around 50 to 80 words. These are not very long answers. Just write down 50 to 80 words, but do write the answers of all these questions. Okay. Now, it is actually the right time when we are reading this story, because according to the scenario that is moving around us, as all of you are completely aware of the situations around us, all of us are forced to stay in quarantine, right? So in quarantine, all of you are somewhere down the line are forced to take help from online teaching. Of course, you don't have robots around you, but you definitely have a machine called mobile around you, and you have to constantly feed yourself with the information and the knowledge that is being put on your mobiles through your teachers. It is not exactly robotic teaching what Isaac Asimov has imagined, but more or less we are in a situation where we are forced to study in isolation and we're not going to the schools. So it will be all the more easier for you to compare the situation, write down your answers. So please do that. I hope to get good answers from you, and if possible, buy the book, or if it is not possible, please do download the book from the NCERT this NCERT site and read the ebook. And tomorrow's video we'll go to the chapter line by line, maybe not line by line but point by point, and please follow whatever the instructions are given to you on the video. Thank you so much. I hope you have learned something, and I also hope that I'll get your answers by today evening probably, or by tomorrow morning. Plus please do write them. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead.